Greco is our guest today. She's the founder of Chaos and Cookies, where she encourages moms to embrace their role without letting it define who they are. As a busy mom of three, keeping moms from crumbling is her main objective. And for over 10 years, she was a director of marketing, helping build multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses for other women. Out of that experience, she created the Chaos Control System to equip moms to overcome their own objections so they can live the life they want to live and even start that business they've always wanted. And she wants to help you too. Welcome, Heather. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, you can't have cookies in the name of your business and not have a sweet tooth. So what's your favorite cookie and why?
Oh, so funny because this is the icebreaker that I ask all of my guests on my podcast.
Oh,
and it's so fun to find out. So no one ever really asks. I'll be the simpleton and be a chocolate chip lover, but I like it soft and not the crunchy ones. I think that you stick with the classics for sure. But
That's right.
Peanut butter is a close second. So
Okay. Okay. And I even prefer the cookie in the dough form sometimes.
Oh, so I am guilty of buying the Nestle edible dough.
Yes.
And chocolate chip. I'm guilty. I'll sit there and I can't eat the whole thing because it's just so heavy, but
Yes.
It's so good.
It just hits the spot sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, when you do have time for you, besides eating the cookie dough, what is your favorite thing to do?
I get really excited when I get my workout in. Honestly, I work out not really more than 30 minutes, but I really like an uninterrupted workout without phones, without children, without people knocking on the door. I just like to just get it in and be done. So that's a sense of accomplishment for me when I can get that done. And then because I have to do it in the morning. If it creeps up to 11 o'clock, there's probably no way I'm getting it in.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. When you have kids, just that 30-minute that is a huge accomplishment. I mean, we joke, how many times can we pause a 45-minute episode? I mean, it's constant interruptions, right?
For sure. I typically will do it right after I drop them off at school. And then I will come in and just I'll have my workout clothes on when I take them to school. I try really hard to get out of the sweatpants to do it. Yeah. So then I can just walk inside, go straight to my closet and bang it out.
Good to go.
I feel like if I have to stop and do some things before, I'll get distracted and then it ends up kind of messing up my flow, but finding the best time to do it for you.
That's excellent. Well, we're going to talk today about the thing that you know, which is being more than a mom. And I love your mission and I love how you present it because it aligns really well with how we do things around here, from simple systems to who we are as individuals. There's an affinity for sure. And one of those is this idea that you have so eloquently put that the word mom tends to define us instead of becoming a role that we play. And, around here, we're strong believers that being a mom is one of the most impactful responsibilities you can ever have. And yet at the same time, you are more than a mom. So tell me more about how Chaos and Cookies got its start with all of this.
Oh, so originally, and not a lot of people know this, I personally started my business to make my way out of my marriage. It wasn't exactly the best of situations. And so I wanted to use it as a way to empower myself and also to create wealth for me. So it would allow me to make the steps that I wanted to make without the cloudiness of being reliant on somebody else financially. And so I originally created it to make moves for me and my children. And in order to do that, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of, you really have to make some hard, fast decisions on how to be the more, productive and really make it work quicker. And so by doing that, I learned different things to help with time management and really make some systems at home so I could focus more on the business and really driving it forward and just being super hyper vigilant about it. So helping things work in a way where it gives me less stress at home with my kids or at the time with my ex-spouse, and trying to make things more self-sufficient. And so by doing that, it projected, and everyone looked at it when I was promoting my business as like systems, procedures. I do everything. How are you managing it all? And it was exactly that, trying to make sure I fit it all in without, missing a beat, so to
Yes.
speak. And I really
Yeah.
wanted to create a space for moms to take away the excuses. Like, I don't have time to do that. Or I got back into health and wellness after I left my job in legal, to stay at home with the kids. And so I heard a lot from other clients that were health and wellness. I don't have time to be healthy. I don't have time to do that. How do I find the time or make that easier for me or not feel guilty?
Mhm.
And that's where Chaos and Cookies was born, and then creating systems from there.
Yeah, well, I love that. And because for a lot of moms, it's the responsibilities of home that hold them back, and they've got a full plate. And so it's not that they don't have the time to do these things. They don't have the energy to go through that learning curve to figure out the new thing, right? And I believe that when your home works well, then you can too. And that starts with these simple systems, like what you're talking about. Now, with three little kids and this thriving online business, what systems did you start with, especially back at the beginning, to create that space and make that shift?
So, for the business side of things, automation is key. The things that you don't have to manually do, I mean, it takes up so much time and space because it's an extra to do item. So, really focusing on getting my systems for my business in place, whether I was ready for them or not, at least having them, because when you are starting a business, you don't see a lot at the beginning, right?
Right.
You build momentum, and one day it will just boom, and then it's going to flood at you. And then you're going to say, I wish I had these things, or you end up getting growing pains, and
Yeah.
you're not equipped for everything that you've been trying to accomplish is finally happening. And
Mhm.
then you might not be able to deliver. And so investing ahead of time and making sure I had a good newsletter or an automated system where my website would talk to my newsletter or my
Yeah.
ordering system, that key piece, and just getting
Mhm.
someone to help me with that just took a different level, because now I'm like, okay, when someone does order, or when I finally do make that link live, it's going to work, and I know it's ready, and I can just focus on promotion. So getting systems in
Yes.
place. And then at home, I've got little ones. My oldest is
Mhm.
now 9, and when
Okay.
I started this business, he was around 6.
Okay.
It was mommy this, mommy that. We were also in the midst of COVID, right? So they're
Yep.
home doing school, doing nothing. Like, there's nothing, there's no help that you can bring in, because everyone was freaked out about bringing people in their house. So creating systems around getting them ready for school. So I ended up contributing a chapter to a no problem parenting book, and it's the 3 C's. And that's the systems that you can put in place at home. So
Okay.
that's can run itself, or it works into a busy life schedule.
Hmm. Yeah, because when it kind of gives that structure that you can build upon, so then you can pivot when you need to, because you're not spending all your energy trying to do those basic things because they're semi-automated, right?
Yes, and it's like habit stacking and things that, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I wish I could implement it a little bit better at my house during, but it's a little crazy with life changes and shifts.
Yep.
So, giving some grace, but I know that the you know, the structure is there.
Yeah.
First thing is, like, with kids in the like morning time. I'm not a morning
Mhm.
person. You know me, followed me for a long time. I'm not a morning person, trying to be, and working on it slowly. But knowing that about myself, then creating things around that weakness, I would
Mhm.
say. So my kids would come out, or they would be still running around with like no bottoms on, or telling me they're in shorts and it's freezing outside. And so each of them have a hanging shelf in their closets, just the cloth ones that have like
Mhm.
different sections.
Mhm.
And we put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday clothing in there. So then it's prepared for any funky week, like a themed week, or
Yes.
we look at the weather. They all have different PE days, making sure everything is set and we have everything. So that way in the morning, I could either grab Monday and put it on their dresser and it's there, or they can go and grab it. So I'm not
Mhm.
arguing with them in the morning. I'm not saying like, what the on earth are you wearing? Like it's,
Right.
60 degrees,
Yeah.
I live in Texas, 60 degrees is chilly. So it's like you're wearing a tank top and it's 60 degrees outside. So just implementing something that they can work on. Even my 5-year-old understands like where that stuff goes,
Mhm.
and trying to do it ahead of time, either Friday before, like while I'm in school
Yes.
mode, or maybe Sunday night before the week starts. Because you'll get those emails like it's crazy sock day on Wednesday. I'm like, oh,
Right?
oops, I don't
Yes.
want to be looking for those crazy socks
But
on
how much
Wednesday.
easier to swap out crazy socks than to try to remember, and if you've got everything already set, you can just make a tweak instead of going to plan a whole new thing based on that information.
Yeah, because
So
how many
that
times do we get the news later? Like, Mom, didn't you
exactly.
know? I'm like, I missed that email.
Did not know. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
And you don't want, that
Wow.
kid to be the only one, right? So
Right.
that's one simple way to help, at least just with clothes. I have it for
Yeah.
myself. I
Uh-huh.
prep all of my workout clothes because I'm a set person. I like to
Yeah.
match. It's so weird. Like I can't just
Just feel
work
better
out
about it.
and
Yeah.
mismatch. I just don't. It's just something whatever. And so
Yeah.
I place it in there. So then in the nighttime, I'll grab it
Yep.
and then put it on my sink so it's ready for the morning when I get dressed. So I'm
Mhm.
not searching for the matching set that morning and make an excuse not
Yes.
to.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. I had to laugh when you said 60 degrees because this morning it was 23 degrees and my high schooler went to the bus stop with just a sweatshirt on because it wasn't cold yet. Why would she want to take a coat? So, it's all relative.
Oh, I mean, I get in the garage, I get the car, all the kids loaded up. And the other day, we drove out and I look, it's like 32 degrees and I look back and none of the kids have jackets because it was just warm. We didn't think about
Right.
it. Cold
Yeah.
snap came through and I'm like, I'm the worst mother. I'm sending them to school with no jackets.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, at least it'll be too cold to go outside. But I was like, oh crap.
I know.
Like,
Isn't that funny?
whoops.
Oh, will you talk about having standard operating procedures or a family playbook for your home and family? Can you tell us more? Like, what do you mean about that, and how do you use it?
Yes, so it can come into play into different things. So personally, I have a nanny or I have some help that comes in. I know I can't do it all, and so and keeping good help is very difficult because I like to say the lifespan of a nanny is about a year and a half because
Mm.
I hire them like early in their like college years, and then they're going to go do their degree, and then they're going to move on to big girl things and do their
Mm.
career, right? Unless they're a career nanny. And so my turnover is there. And so I get tired of explaining the same exact thing over and over. Or if that person doesn't work out after 3 weeks, I got to do it all over. And
Yeah.
then now I've noticed that sometimes my transition periods are very tight and my old nanny can't train my new person.
Mhm.
Um, so then I'm doing it on top of, and I'm used to just
Everything
someone
else.
knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And so having something written out where it's like, this is where all the kids stuff is. This is the code words. Like when they say this is what it means.
Mhm.
And having just a tool for them to either review or to fill out their info or the extra forms you have to get when you switch somebody out,
Mhm.
having that handy so I'm not emailing the school, and just having a place for everything that mom knows. So
Mhm.
then it's an easy resource to be like, it's on page 5, go check it here. And if it's not in there, then let me know. Um,
Mhm.
it's like those lists that we make for like our pet sitters and how
Yeah.
many times that we have to write down like our phone number and where we're going to be and emergency contact. Well, if it's already there, you can print it out,
Mhm.
or, you can go and retype it out and just print out the page. And so just creating a system and a resource book, almost like an
Okay.
Airbnb. You go and you
Yes.
stay, and there's always something there that tells you what to do around the area and
Yeah.
where to find the things in your house. Same exact thing. It's just a way more detailed.
Mhm.
What if something were to happen to me and no one knew I had 6 properties that have 6
Right.
tenants, and all of a sudden, like, not that I have that, I wish,
Right.
but
Yes. But let's
then
just
that
pretend.
tenant,
Yeah.
right? Then that tenant doesn't know that maybe I passed away or whatever, or
Yeah.
I'm in the hospital, and that person that's taking over to help, they don't know to go collect rent every, first of the month, and then
Yeah.
we got more problems later on because it wasn't, down somewhere,
Hmm.
and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I can see where if it's something that you do once a year and it's easy to forget how you do something, you can have it documented so that you don't spend all your time trying to refigure out the process. You just do it. That
Yeah,
kind of,
and yeah, exactly. I'm in the
okay.
process of like, I have to put my house up for sale soon. I'm
Okay.
going through a divorce. So I'm starting from scratch and I'm starting a new one. So I just got a car. So I'm going to put in, the warranty information,
Yes.
what it covers, how long, what the dates are, because
Hmm.
then a year and a half from now, I'm not going to remember. And then they're
Yeah.
going to try and charge me something. And I'm like, isn't this covered? And you can go back and you can look
It's
and just
right
be
there.
prepared. So you're not, or if like, the AC in the house was just
Yes.
serviced, writing it down in one spot because you'll lose the piece of paper,
Yeah.
and just keeping up. So I'm refilling it out now. I've just got
Okay.
a new person helping. And so just keeping it up,
Yeah. And when it comes to like you use nanny as the example, but even teaching our kids as we give them more and more responsibility, having something like this takes a lot of stress off of both sides because now I would imagine that instead of saying you didn't do this, you're going, well, let's go back here because I noticed this step got missed or something. And I imagine it makes it easier for them to do it correctly, but it also makes it less confrontational to have a conversation because it's not your preference that you verbally shared. It's an objective step by step thing you can point to.
Yeah, kids love lists and they like being told what to do. They like to know the expectations. Like
Yeah.
it helps them stay calm as well.
Hmm.
And so it also helps when you have someone who's coming in and they know, like the kids know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then they try to like finagle it a little bit and trick the sitter or trick the
Yes.
person that's watching. And if it's there, there's actually a spot in there that says expected behavior. And so you can list, this is what they're supposed to do. This is where you're supposed to drop them off. This is what you might encounter. Like he'll cry for 5 minutes. Let him
Hmm.
cry. It's normal. And then he'll go off. He will try to do this, but this is the expected behavior when they're going to this thing or when you
Okay.
have to do this at home. So it prepares them so then they can't get fooled or tricked like, oh, he was crying. And so I felt bad. You
Right.
put it in there and you didn't get a chance to warn them. It's like, and the kids know better, then it's there. And then it's like, okay, she said this was going to happen. So, it's like a backup, like a mom backup
Yes.
almost,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk about that mom who wants to have her own business. Maybe she's turning her hobby into a money making venture. And I know it sounds so easy when people tell you to just, create an online presence and promote on social media. But the more you learn, the more overwhelming it can feel. And no pun, well, joke intended. It's enough to make you want to lose your cookies, right?
Yeah.
So, why has all of this become so overwhelming, and how do you help make it simple?
So analysis paralysis is what we call that, right? So much information, you just freeze and you don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
When you simply just wanted to do like a simple thing. So my business has morphed into two separate things, like helping moms at home create systems and just, peace of mind and just self-sufficiency. And then I also now teach Instagram and social media for people that are just now starting their business because it doesn't come naturally for everybody. The people I help are mid-age, like in their 50s, 60s, starting their businesses, and they didn't have social. I mean, I didn't have a cell phone until I was 16. Like we're not like our kids now who have like the chip.
Right.
And so learning just a simple way to post is taxing sometimes. And the button moves every 5 seconds because there's an update because we don't control the platforms. So just knowing where to find those things is a really helpful tool to just get to the next step. And so I simplify social media a lot for my clients and for my followers. If there's a new feature, I try to do like a very visual tutorial, simplifying the steps because being told what to do and showing how to do it is way, way different.
Yes.
And I like to be able to I'm not telling you how to grow your business like in 10x it. It's just simply making a post and putting it in the right place and making sure that people are seeing it. And we have to remember that we are in a very instant gratification
Mm-hmm.
world where we see overnight successes, or that's what we like to think we're seeing because
Yeah.
we're watching social media, we're watching YouTube, we're watching all these people that have this presence and we think it happened overnight. When you don't,
Mm-hmm.
in reality, they've been working on it for 10 years and they're building the momentum. So
Yes.
remembering to stay in your lane and remember like you're not on their timeline. You're also not probably selling the same thing or trying to serve the same audience, and to really stay on the person in the lane that you're trying to serve, because you will grow a lot quicker if you're not trying to make everybody happy and you're like, nope. And so remembering when you're starting a business to
Mm-hmm.
be really clear on what you want to do, but be open to the pivot. Like social media is where my audience wanted me to go and help them simplify it and create quicker systems with it.
Mm-hmm.
I have no interest in teaching social media. It's not something, but I've learned and I ended up getting a job because of it. So
Yeah.
you just never know where it'll take you. So to be open to the possibility as long as it's in line, because
Mm-hmm.
you just, those opportunities just, you think you want to do X, right? Like I came out wanting to help moms and keeping moms from crumbling, right? I create a podcast so I can at least stay in that world when really my money maker is Instagram and social media and
Okay.
systems, because that's what people want, are willing
Mm-hmm.
to invest their time in business and their money into it. Where on the other side at home, it's like that comes on the back burner. You have to
Mm-hmm.
ask their spouse for permission, or I'd rather spend money on my business than on myself. So
Mm-hmm.
knowing where that goes, and that's market research.
Yes. Well, you have a marketing background, and that does give you a distinct perspective. So I have two marketing questions for you. The first is, what is the biggest marketing mistake that you've seen? And the second is, what's the simplest marketing strategy that someone could start right now?
So the biggest marketing mistake I would say is following well, if you're talking about money, follower campaigns, like do not do them. Do not boost those. Like it, the way that it works now on social, we don't do this. There's no swipe up that comes with 10,000 followers anymore. Now everyone has a link to put into a story. It says click here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it as much because it's a two touch, like you have to click it and click it. Swipe
Mm-hmm.
up was just an exact, like quick one step. But that was the goal, is to get that magic number. And now you don't. And when you buy followers to make your numbers look good, they're just bots and not they're not concentrated on your audience. So they'll actually help they'll ding you on the analytics.
Okay.
Because if you see someone with 8,000 followers when you've got 6 likes, that stuff's not resonating and hitting with the audience and the organic growth. So I'd stay away from that. Organically grow. It's much better for you, and it also stays at a consistent pace.
Mm.
And I would also say consistency, staying consistent every day and showing up, or every other day, whatever you can, to stay
Mm-hmm.
consistent with it. Because if you do a bunch and then you drop off and come back, you don't get into the rhythm. You're not staying. You have to remember, not everyone, only 10% of your followers see. Like you might
Mm-hmm.
have 1,000 followers, but only 100 are seeing what you put on. And however that piece of content performs with the 100 people, that's going to make the algorithm decide if it's going to push it to another 100, or if it's going to die on the vine. So just being consistent and knowing that you're delivering content for your actual audience that's teaching them something and helping someone. That's
Okay.
really what you want.
Okay. So when it comes, and that's really helpful. I guess one of my follow-up questions to that would be inconsistency in being consistent, not inconsistency, in being consistent. Do you recommend that people are posting organically live, right in the Instagram itself? Or like for someone like me, it's much easier if I can plan it out and have it scheduled to post, because life gets in the way. And
Yeah.
I have 5 kids. I'm not going to get this done at the same time every day.
Yes.
What does it matter?
So the only thing that matters, and there's this big myth out there like, oh, I have to be live.
Mhm.
So the biggest myth about it is a scheduler is great. If you have a scheduler and you want to schedule out your stuff, that's perfect. The problem with the schedulers and why it's not as effective as being live is because we rely on that scheduling platform to put our post out. The
Mhm.
problem is that we have to push it along. You have 30 minutes from the time you post to get some touches.
Okay.
Any type of impressions, they call it, likes, shares, comments. So being live at the time of your scheduled post. So if you have it like, okay, I'm going to post it too because I don't want to
Mhm.
forget. Making a note to be available for 20 minutes during the time, maybe 10 minutes before it posts, so you can be on there engaging and getting people to see the notifications of you commenting on things. Then your thing posts. And then what's happening is after you've engaged for that 10 minutes prior,
Mhm.
your followers or whoever you're commenting on is most likely saying, Jen Urin, liked your post. They're going to
Okay.
open to see which one it was. So now they're on the platform. So then when yours comes up, it's going to refresh and go to the top of it because you are now like linked into their
Okay.
algorithm. Now you've got 10 more minutes if you're only doing 20 minutes of your time
Mhm.
to engage or to push it because that's the key. So the problem with the
Okay.
scheduled things is we're relying on it to just do its thing. You
Mhm.
do have to organically be on there. So
Got it. Okay. And
it doesn't ding you for that.
this is really the first I've heard that explained, because in my mind I was always like, well, if consistency is more important and the scheduler means I'm consistent and I'm posting versus not posting, well then isn't that better? But that's interesting. I had not heard that before.
Because the algorithm is going to decide if
Okay.
what you posted, is it worth pushing? Is it going to keep people on their platform? Or is it going to be like really boring and they're going to like exit out of it and I'm done with it? And
Mhm.
so that's where this other big key piece of information is, especially if you're a Facebook user. Facebook will allow you to put links in your posts, in your
Mhm.
captions, right? Don't do it. Don't do that. So 30 less than 30% of your content overall should have a link of any kind in the actual caption, because as soon as the bots see and those little crawlers see that there's a link in your caption, they're not going to push it because they
Mm.
see that you're trying to take them off of their platform somewhere else, and they're a business too. They want you to stay
Mhm.
on as long as possible. So the best place to put a link is in the comment section. So that's why
Okay.
you see a lot of link in the comments, link in my bio,
Mhm.
because then Facebook or whatever platform you're on doesn't know who put it there. You would
Mm.
then go after you post, put the link into your comments. They don't know if you did it or someone else did it, so they can't punish you or ding you, which means they'll continue to push it out to the
Okay.
people and keep it growing. And that is a huge mistake because they're a business. So you want to serve
Yeah.
them too by making sure that you're keeping people on, bringing them to different places on the platform. And live is key. Like, live is
Okay.
king. Going live, they love it because it brings
Okay.
people to the platform. If you see someone going live, ooh, what is she talking about? All of a sudden,
Mhm.
they just got a boost in users.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. I could talk to you a lot longer about this stuff, but
Oh yeah. I mean, hey,
yeah.
it's just the simple things I've learned through learning through mentors. That's the kind of stuff I teach because not a lot of people know about that. And
Right.
they sit there and they're like, why am I on social? I'm not growing. I'm not doing. But it just little tiny changes. You don't have to like spend all
Mhm.
day on it. Sometimes I'll
Yes.
take a day off and not do it, and my numbers will go up because
Mhm.
I'm giving the my followers a time, like a chance to catch up on my
Yeah.
content. And there's
Mhm.
never, ever, ever such thing as too much content. Because
Okay.
remember, if you're posting on Facebook and you post something else on Instagram, that maybe they didn't go on Instagram that day and they only
Mhm.
went on Facebook, they didn't see that other piece of content. So then it sit there waiting for you, repurposing 6 months. There's nothing wrong because remember, 10% of your followers see what you're putting out there. So
Okay.
most likely in 6 months, you're going to be growing. So those new ones haven't seen it. And the other 90% probably didn't either. So no one's
Yes.
counting. No one's noticing if you use the same picture from a year ago.
Okay.
Like reuse what you have because believe me, no one's paying that close of attention.
That's so funny. Well, tell me, what is the best thing that you have ever outsourced as a mom?
I would say other than like help with my kids, because like just your packing lunches or laundry help is great.
Mhm.
As a mom, ooh, I would say I used to. I don't do it anymore. I've lost that person. But at one point, the person that my nanny had a boyfriend that was in. He was culinary. He was like a line cook,
Mhm.
and he wanted to practice his knife skills to get better. And I was like, well, what if I pay you $100 a week to come and cook my protein, prep my stuff, you get your
Mhm.
practice, I don't have to do it, and then I get to, whatever. And that was a fantastic, it was great for months. He would come in
Yes.
once a week, prep, he got to hang out with his girlfriend a little bit, and I had food ready. It was healthy, it was cooked well because he knew what he was doing, and he got to practice. All win. And
Nice.
it was great. And he was like 18. So they weren't asking for much. And that was a really great source. But I will say now, I have a virtual assistant.
Mm.
My VA runs my calendar. She color codes everything for me. If I need to cancel something, I don't feel guilty doing it because I make her do it. It just makes me feel like I've got someone there to help
Yeah.
me. My bandwidth. It's great. She'll help me. She just sent me a Christmas list because she's like, I need some more ideas. So let me just like put it in your cart. You let me know if you want it or not. It's like,
Oh,
cool. So she helps with my business, but she also helps personally, which has been
that's fabulous.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's a mom, helps. We
Yeah.
think the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, well, this has been a fun conversation. But one question I ask every guest is a little bit more lighthearted, and that is, what is your favorite time-saving gadget? I love gadgets, system or tool.
Ooh. I mean, I like a good timer. I have like these hourglasses that are really fun. My
Mhm.
kids like to come in. I'm like, they're glass, they're not plastic. Don't play with
Right.
them. But they're a visual
Mhm.
because I can flip it over. I have two of them, 10 minutes a piece. So if I'm going to
Okay.
go on social media, if I'm going to do something that I really want to make sure that I don't go past my time, I'll
Mhm.
put that on there, and they're bright colored. So I'll use that as my timer. And then once one is done, I know I'm at my halfway point.
Mhm.
I don't like to use the timers on my phone because I can push the snooze button
Yes.
easily because I'm on my phone. Most likely I'm doing social media or I'm sending an email. I can easily just push like snooze and then forget that that was something I was supposed to do. So using a timer other than your phone.
Yes. I like that because you can't snooze the sand, when it's dripping through.
It's over, it's over. I mean, you could always flip it over again,
Right.
but at least you're on task. For me, like I'll have reminders and I'm
Yeah.
guilty of it sometimes. I'll flip it up and then 9 minutes later it'll go off because it's the snooze. I'm like, oh yeah, oops. Now I just lost 9 minutes when I was like
Mhm.
supposed to. So keeping the reminders and things off of your phone and somewhere
Yes.
else
Love that.
helps.
That's great. Well, tell us more about the freebie that you have for our listeners and how people can connect with you.
So I have one for each type of mom. So I have one for just the systems. If you want more of that pocket play, I have a pocket playbook. It's free. It's a smaller version of the Chaos Control System Home Edition that I have that I was talking about.
Mhm.
It's a free version with all the essential info that gets you started. Can really just get a good feel. So that's for free at chaosandcookies.com, or you can find it on my Instagram. And my other one is I have like a new coach kit. So and it doesn't have to be coaches, it's for a new business owner. And that is your steps on how to automate your systems or your link tree. Maybe you don't have a website yet and you need just help setting up a link tree and then putting a link tree into like a flow desk or like an email. So
Mhm.
it's very step by step new coach kit where it helps you set those systems up. They're all free.
Okay.
If not, there's a code in for like a 50% off if you need something that you don't like. I use Flowdesk. It's not a free platform. It's like
Yeah.
19 bucks a month. So you can grab that, but it's just a nice step by step on first you're going to do this and then you're going to do this. And so that's also free. Really.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Well, Heather, this has been a great conversation, and I appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you for having me. And thank you again for letting me share all of my things. And I have a podcast too that I also talk about this kind of stuff. So
And
it's
what's your podcast called?
Chaos and Cookies podcast.
Okay,
Huh?
excellent. Well, thank you so much.